I just want to storm into his office, give him the finger, knock over his stupid potted plant, and walk out like a badass from the movies. How many times has the above fantasy crossed your mind while at work? The temptation to quit, especially when times are tough, often festers desires to stick it to the man one final time. But in reality, when it's actually time to leave your current job, things tend to be a little more subdued. However, even when things are cordial between you, your boss, and your coworkers, leaving your job for another opportunity can still lead to animosity, headaches, and tainted reputation if you are not careful. Here are 5 ways to leave your job with class and dignity and not burn any bridges in the process. 1. Remember that you are replaceable. No matter how important you think you are replaceable. Right now there is someone cheaper, smarter, and better than you. Just because you are the secret keeper of all the Excel macros doesn't mean you have permission to make your employer grovel and beg you to stay. As you make your way through your transition away from your old job, give as much knowledge as you can. Help make your coworkers' lives easier by creating how-to guides, answering their questions, and ensuring all processes are handed over seamlessly. Don't hold onto your knowledge expecting to use it as leverage later. Give and move on. 2. Give plenty of notice. Below is my actual letter of resignation I handed in last Monday. Here's a general rule of thumb: for every 6 months you've worked for your employer, give them 2 weeks. Cap at 90 days notice. I've worked at my current employer for over 2.5 years. If you don't want to do the math, I gave my employer an 8-week notice. In addition, my manager knew ahead of time this was coming. I'm leaving my job for self-employment, which means I can be flexible on my departure date, so I know this rule doesn't work for everyone. Nevertheless, the more time you can give your employer to help with the transition, the better it makes you look. 3. Never, ever complain about your employer to your coworkers. Whatever grudges you may have about your employer, keep them to yourself. Don't attempt to spread discord among your current coworkers by highlighting all the negative reasons why you're leaving. Focus on the positives or don't say anything at all. People will be jealous of you, especially if you are leaving for an exciting opportunity. Remind them why you've enjoyed working for your employer. Help them to see the bigger picture. Plus, complaining makes you look bad, period. 4. Don't check out, keep working until the last day. Do you remember how hard it was to show up to school as a senior in high school? I don't. I was obsessed with keeping my streak of 982 consecutive days of perfect attendance intact. Okay, so I was a weird kid growing up. But for most people, knowing something new and exciting is just around the corner leads to lack of focus on the present. Instead of succumbing to senioritis and doing nothing at your job, try doing the following. Relax a little. With more of your workload being offloaded to other coworkers, there will be less pressure on you to perform. Enjoy it for a change. Take your time to work on tasks instead of rushing through them like you are accustomed. Work on side projects. Again, with fewer pressing matters at hand, why not devote some time on your own projects? But only after you get your day's worth of work finished. Learn. It might be too obvious reading a book at your desk, but online courses offer an easy way to study something new and grow your skill set without obnoxiously snubbing your coworkers. I even have a course you can take. 5. Teach them how to say goodbye before the big day comes. Send a courteous farewell email to your coworkers expressing thanks and giving them more than one way of contacting you in the real world. If you are feeling ambitious, call people out individually and thank them for specific reasons. If you deal with any suppliers or business partners, make sure they are notified as well and who they should contact in your absence. You never know when you might cross paths with your coworkers again, personally or professionally, so be sure not to leave a bad taste in their mouth.